Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to a reading for mid-May 2023. We're just going to jump right in here, see what comes up. You have this new moon card. It just says a new start is coming. I'm almost positive that all the readings that you've had in the month of May have pretty much been talking about some sort of new start. I do kind of feel like fear is getting in the way here, especially with this Knight of Pentacles, because it's like you probably, I think that the problem here is security. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're thinking about starting a new business or getting a new job, you could be fearing being left out in the cold, or you could be fearing like, oh, if I start this business, it's going to fail. It popped into my head immediately when I started this reading. So, I feel like for some of you, this reading is going to probably continue to talk about, overcoming some sort of fear. You have two path cards as well showing up here, which is interesting. So there could be like a new path that is presenting itself to you. And, that would make a lot of sense. So, yeah, I feel like, a lot of you need to kind of get a grip. It's funny that you have this grip card. That's not what it represents. But, I kind of feel like this reading is encouraging you in the middle of this month to, like, really take control and get over, like, some sort of fear that you could be having. I don't even see, like, these cards, some of these beginning cards here aren't necessarily great, but I also don't think it's a bad reading. I think that, again, with this Devil card, number one, I would be careful of influences at this time. I think that over the next, like, until 2033, I would just be careful of, how things influence you. And this doesn't have to be anything that's like super toxic, but if every time you watch TV it puts you in a bad mood, then it's probably time to stop watching TV. If every time you talk to a certain person in your life you don't start your business because they make you feel bad about it, it's time to stop talking to that person, right? So that's what I mean by influence. And again, we are all going to be, triggered by this from now until 2033. So like I said, it's something that we all kind of have to just get over. But I do feel like for some of you, it's kind of about like releasing, I think this reading, you end with that grip card. It is showing up in the last row. It is actually a good card as well, but it is, I kind of got like, get a grip, Pisces. But I also do feel like something has a hold over you that you need to release. It could be a heartbreak for some of you here, going this way. And you have the Three of Swords, heartbroken, Page of Swords, somebody is spying. So if Pisces, I'm not calling you out here, right? But if you're the one spying, I don't want to say that it's you, but if it's you, then I feel like you need to stop spying and, release a past person here. I also do feel like this is new love at the same time. But again, I'm just saying, not calling you out, but totally am. I would be careful of spying. You have the Seven of Cups here. Sevens are what really tells me that, the only thing that's preventing your success at this time is you. I have a feeling when we clarify, the clarifying cards are probably going to be amazing because, that's just the feeling I get in this reading. But, the Seven of Cups is being spoiled for choice, but it's too much imagination. He's imagining too many, future things instead of getting started. So, I feel sometimes we just have to grab the bull by the balls and, make something happen here. You have the Knight of Pentacles, literally says, grab the bull by the balls and make something happen. It's like he's over-prepared. He has everything he needs. The Knight of Pentacles, he has these are oak leaves that are on his helmet, and they represent knowledge and wisdom, and he's the only knight that isn't moving, and he just needs to start planting seeds in this field behind him. So it's almost like you are over-prepared for this new beginning. You have that card that says a new start is coming, but all you have to do is, like, get out of your head going this way, Five of Pentacles. And the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is like the what ifs. The Five of Pentacles is like feeling like you don't have enough. And, pretty much everybody gets the Five of Pentacles nowadays. And as I say to everyone, if you want to start anything, you're probably not going to have the money to start it. If you want to move, you're probably not going to have the money. But you have to do it anyway. And so, where there's a will, there's a way. And let's see where this is going, Pisces. With the Devil, you have the Knight of Cups here. I would be careful of a past person, going this direction. I feel like this has been coming up for you for the past couple of weeks. This could also, I do also feel that there could be new love coming in for you, but, I would just make sure you're healing from, or you have healed from something right here. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Three of Pentacles. Like, look at what this guy is doing on this Three of Pentacles. He's literally kind of watering some seeds that he has planted. Three of Pentacles is a card of quality work. It's a card of, like, showing your work as well. And, you know, the guy, normally on a traditional Three of Pentacles, like, the guy on the card, he's gone above and beyond as well. It's a card of like receiving recognition for a job well done. So, you know, I kind of feel this is saying, like, don't sell yourself short in work either. I feel that if you're thinking about working on a new project or business, I feel like it's going to be like much better received than you think. Like, you're much more capable than you realize, which, you know, Pisces always gets this. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Chariot. I literally said, where there's a will, there's a way. The Chariot literally represents where there's a will, there's a way. So if there's something you want to achieve, nothing can stop you, Pisces. I really feel that, you know, I say this to you all the time because it's true that, you know, really, Chariot, he's normally leaving a city behind. He's setting himself apart. And it's like, if you're doing something, then chances are no one has ever done it before. So you're very innovative at this time. You could be doing a lot of, like, new things in work, in business, and, you know, in any area of your life. And I kind of feel like this is saying, you know, it's like there's nothing to compare it to, your success or like your potential future success, but you just have to, like, pick the path. You have that high honor card, you have that pathway card. You know, it's like literally, I feel the universe, like, wants to bless you is what this reading is saying, but it's also the universe isn't going to, you know, if you're showing fear, right, then the universe is like, well, their vibration doesn't match what they want to accomplish. So, you know, I really feel this reading is encouraging you to be bold, be assertive, and kind of like make something happen, right? You have this Choose a Path card. It says there are many paths before you, but you may only choose one. Seven of Cups. You have this Helping Hand card. It says the universe is helping you to find something you need that will lead you to the next step. Yes, you need to trust your intuition here. Number one, you have the Hierophant as well. The Hierophant is literally the bridge between the heavens and the earth. He communicates with both sides, and he also can bring blessings into your life. So I do feel for some of you that there could be blessings coming in for you, or there is a blessing in the form of like a sign, a symbol, a clue, you know, repeating numbers, whatever it is that you pay attention to. But clearly there's a pathway. And you have two path cards here. And you have the Three of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. I kind of feel like this is what you have to get over here, Pisces. It could be a heartbreak, but, you know, again, I don't even necessarily feel like this reading is talking about love. I feel like it's talking about a new path, you know, a path, an opportunity that's going to be very successful, that's going to put you in high honor. But I feel like there's some things that you have to get over, like some triggers from the past. You know, maybe you're like being triggered by past failures or something like that. It's like even me, like during this retrograde, like years ago, I had a major business failure, and it's like for 4 years, I kept trying to like recreate a business, right? I had like a billion failures during that time, but I eventually got to this point where it's like I wouldn't even get started on something. I would come up with an idea, and then I would like I would kind of, my brain would be like, oh, this is why it's not going to work, like immediately, because I had so many failures. It's almost like I couldn't push myself past that point of just getting started and seeing how things go, right? So it's like I built up this big fear of getting started. And, you know, I really don't have any good advice for you because eventually I just got over it. And, you know, I think that my best advice, I always say, is like going for walks. It's like I was sitting in my room for literally 4 years. I was doing nothing with my life because I was like, I don't know, I was depressed or something. And so I wasn't doing anything. And, you know, I'm convinced that I just eventually started going for walks every single day. And, you know, that's about the time I started this channel. That's about the time I started some other things that ended up kind of turning my life around. And, you know, I'm convinced that the forward motion of walking literally got my mind moving forward, right? So, you know, that's what I did. But, you know, whatever can work for you, I would say try something to get out of this Three of Swords energy. And again, I'm saying this because like recently during this retrograde, I kind of had some of those feelings come up again where I was just like, I'm not even gonna bother because it's not gonna work. Like I was getting into that kind of zone, right? And it makes sense, by the way, because we have a lot of astrology right now that we had about like 14 years ago, somewhere around there. And you know, so that's like that was like the beginning of when my business failed, was like 14 years ago, right? And then it took me 4 years to start this channel, and so there you go. But you know, maybe like 12 to 14, I would say. But, you know, a lot of you could be triggered by those like past memories, or, you know, could be triggered by those past times. I talked about this in your last reading, I'm convinced. So, you know, definitely something you need to heal from. You have the Five of Pentacles. Right next to it, you have the Five of Wands. Again, I get that feeling of stopping yourself from creating something or starting something because of like competition or because you feel like you don't have the resources. I was even talking to someone the other day that like wanted to build a website, and they brought something up to me, which, I had to laugh, number one, but number two, they were like, I shouldn't build this website because Google is making these changes where AI is going to dominate the search engine. It's going to be top of search. I'm like, yeah, but it's like, but you don't even know if that's gonna like affect your business or not. It had like nothing to do with their business, right? And I was like, why are you worrying about something that has nothing to do with anything? And again, that's like what I get right here, Pisces, is if you're thinking about starting something, it's almost as if the Seven of Cups could be saying you're worrying about something in the future that might never happen. So I feel like you have to find out. I always say with the Seven of Cups that the Seven of Cups reminds me of kind of like just never getting started, so then you never have to say that you failed, basically. It's like the Seven of Cups, you can have all these fantasies about something, whatever it is, but like unless you actually try it, then you're never going to know how something is going to go. But again, as someone who lived in that space of just never having to admit that I failed because I never tried in the first place, like that is not success, right? So I feel like this is saying you have to try, and I'm convinced I said this to you in your last reading. You have the Hierophant. I do feel like the universe is stepping in here and it's kind of like saying like, okay, come on, I want you to be successful. You need to express something into the world. You are a teacher. People learn from you, whether you realize it or not, Pisces. And I really feel like you need to realize like how many lives you touch, and that's literally what's popping into my head with the Hierophant. So it's like definitely not time to give up now, Pisces. But let's see where this row is going. With that Three of Swords, you have the World. Yes, pretty good, because this could actually say that you're getting to the end of a heartbreak or a heartbreaking situation. Again, does not have to be love. I kind of just get like fears and like a temporary situation, something you've been dealing with. Could be your emotions as well, right? And the World is a card of completion. It's also a card of accomplishment. So I do feel like, but again, I'm not going to sugarcoat this reading. I feel like that Three of Swords is saying that you like either you need to raise your vibration or there's a healing that needs to happen so that you can get to the world, right? So, this could be limiting beliefs or anything. And as I always say, you don't have to pay money for this. There are plenty of like videos on YouTube for free that, talk about like techniques for getting over limiting beliefs, removing money blocks, like whatever you feel is standing in your way. I would go do something about it, right? With the Five of Pentacles, you have the King of Pentacles. If you are stuck financially, I would say this is probably why right here. The King of Pentacles is a card of convention. Personally, I like the King of Pentacles, but I also don't like the King of Pentacles. He can represent doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting a different result. But he's not really insanity. He just, he's stuck in his ways, right? So it can say that if you're stuck in work, in business, financially, especially, that it's because you're not innovating, because you're not trying something new. Whenever I see him, I always think of the 80-20 rule, but I have like a different 80-20 rule, which is like 20% of the time experiment. They always say that the innovators get the arrows in the back, meaning the people who are first to try something always are the ones that make all the mistakes, right? But that's not necessarily a bad thing, number one. Number two, again, if you're only doing it 20% of the time, it's not really going to do much to like hurt your business, for example, or it's not going to really hurt you in your career. So I would be like 20% of the time learning something new, especially if you're stuck financially, or trying something new, especially if you have like a side hustle, a business, whatever, like doing things differently, right? Don't get stuck doing things the same way over and over and over again. But I do feel also that going this way here, clearly you're taking control of your finances. So I actually feel like there are financial improvements coming in for you. With the Hierophant, you have the Three of Cups here. It could be some sort of celebration coming in for you here. So, I really feel people want to support you. I also kind of get the feeling that this could be like your guides or your ancestors are kind of like encouraging you to like really push forward. I kind of feel like you are being guided very strongly at this time. The challenge here is the Five of Wands, obviously. I mean, Five of Wands, personally, I like the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is a card of conflict and competition, but I always say those people are training on the Five of Wands. They're learning how to fight. So it's not necessarily a bad card, but I also get the feeling in your reading that it's like you could be looking at something from a competitive space. But I always say to people, there's one of my favorite books of all time, Science of Getting Rich. He talks about how this book was written in like 1920 or something like that, right? And it's amazing how ahead of the times this guy was. Wallace Wattles, right, is who wrote that book. And he always said in that book that we're going from competition to co-creation, basically. He didn't say exactly that, but he talks about all the billionaires that have done evil things, and he kind of says it in a very high vibe way. He basically says that those people are not evil because they got us to where we are, but now we're entering into this time of co-creation where we can think co-creatively. We don't have to think like, oh, how can I dominate this person or the environment or this situation, right? So, I kind of feel like now is the time where we are switching from competition to co-creation. Literally, Pluto and Aquarius, right? So I feel that here where, what I'm trying to spit out, Pisces, is I feel like you are being triggered maybe by competition, or you're seeing people as competition. But I think if you could switch it to co-creation, you will obviously be much more successful. Not only that, you have this high honor card and this pathway card. Literally, I feel like there is a path that is opening up for you where you are going to be receiving high honor, where you are going to be recognized. I almost feel like that Emperor is you. Like you have the Chariot going up to the Emperor here. The Chariot is about setting yourself apart. The Emperor is about bossing up. So I really get this energy where you could be bossing up big time. But again, I don't want to make it sound like super easy. I feel like you're going to have to face some fears. You're going to have to overcome your own mind. Like if I were you, Pisces, and I am, I would be focusing on overcoming my mind right now. Like that should be your focus for the rest of the month. Not love, not business, really necessarily. Although I do think you're money focused right now. I would say I think conquering whatever it is that puts up those blockages in front of you, like conquering that is going to be the thing that makes you very successful this month. And not only this month, but probably the rest of your life. You have the Emperor, the Five of Wands, and the Nine of Wands here. Again, going this way, I would be careful of a person from the past. Three of Cups, reunion, Three of Swords. You have the Nine of Wands, putting up boundaries. This person could be just coming in to cause conflict. They're clearly spying on you, or someone is spying on you here, Pisces. Could be a new person. I do feel like some of you could have an Aries. You've been all up in Aries business. Aries has been all up in your business as well. So, go for it if you're interested. I would also say that, again, I would be careful. I do feel like for some of you, this has been coming up recently as well, that someone could be coming back, someone toxic is coming back to like create conflicts or something like that. I would just avoid it. But other than that, I mostly feel that this is your energy. I really feel you have the opportunity to boss up at this time. I do feel like maybe creativity is missing here. It is interesting that just kind of like intuitively, I was like, oh, I feel like something is missing. I'm like, oh, duh, the Empress is missing from this reading. But it's not like for love purposes, it's like he can represent, sometimes the Emperor and the Empress can represent, when they show up in a reading, they can represent needing to either balance out the masculine or the feminine energies, right, inside of you. And so I kind of feel that with the Emperor, but I feel like the Empress is missing. So I feel like maybe being more creative, tapping more into your creative energies or your creative side would be a good idea, or coming up with creative solutions could also be a good idea as well. Again, I keep telling people like until 2027, like really 2033, we are in a time of chaos. We are going to see a lot of chaos and craziness in the world, and it is your job to embrace the chaos, right? It is your job to ride the lightning, Pisces, and everybody's job really, but I think you can probably do it better than anyone else, like the craziness. So, the people who can thrive during these times of chaos, the people who can pay attention to the cycles that are happening and things like that could become very successful, wealthy, whatever you want, right? So pay attention. You have the Five of Wands. I feel like you've learned through conflict as well. So you've probably experienced a lot of conflict, and I feel like you've learned through these conflicts. I feel like you've also learned about things through being conflicted. Like, I think the mistakes that you've made in the past, it's like you've probably been conflicted about a decision. Like, let's say you were in a relationship, and maybe you wanted to be in the relationship, but maybe you were also conflicted about the relationship. I feel like the Five of Wands is like saying, what did you learn? Did you learn that conflicted feeling was basically saying, leave, get out before this turns into something worse? Or did you just stay like a typical Pisces and just drag it out for years and years and years, right? And I think this is where the lessons are coming from the Five of Wands. So I hope that makes sense. Same thing about business as well, or work. It's like when people say, oh, this isn't going to work, and then you felt conflicted, like you should do it anyway, even though people said it wasn't going to work, and then you didn't do it, and then maybe a year later you saw someone who did exactly what you were going to do, and they made like $1 billion, right? That's happened to me, not $1 billion, but plenty of money, right? So again, it's like, have you learned from those moments where you've thought about doing something and people are like, you're stupid, but they just don't understand Pisces, right? And, I feel like the Nine of Wands is saying experiment. Nine of Wands is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Literally, the Nine of Wands is my solution to the King of Pentacles right here. So I feel like it's a time of experimentation for you, and also clearly a time for you to pick a new path. It's almost like, I do have a weird feeling, by the way, for some of you Pisces, not all of you, but if you've been thinking about like leaving your job or changing your career or making some sort of big change, it's like I feel like you've done everything you can in the situation you're in right now. So let's say you have a business and it's not growing. I think the universe is trying to say, like, okay, you've done everything you can here. You've taught lessons, you've learned lessons. Now it's time for the next big thing. And I really kind of feel that's where this reading is going to end up. I feel it's saying the next big, it's time for the next big thing, right? Let's put it that way. With the Emperor, you have the Fool. Like, are you kidding? Definitely could be an Aries coming in for you. Literally, in the major arcana, we go from the World and then we start all over again as the Fool. That's part of the Fool's journey. We just start all over again as a Fool, go to the World, we start all over again as a Fool. So it's like you've completed something clearly. You could be a little conflicted or heartbroken over it, and it could be love or otherwise. I really feel this isn't talking about love. Well, it could be part of it. I feel like this is more of a big picture reading for you Pisces, but the whole entire reading, like a new start is coming, 2 pathway cards. It's like, are you kidding me? You have with the Five of Wands, you have the Hierophant. Don't repeat lessons, Pisces, is what that says to me, especially with the Five of Wands showing up there. The Five of Wands is basically, it's like you learned something through conflict, and, if this is a person, it's like, do you really need to learn it again? I would say no. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. I love the Eight of Wands. It's like quick success, good things coming in for you, or, very rapid success just in general. Can also represent a conclusion. I feel for a lot of you, this could be love, by the way. It could be an earth sign. It could be a water sign as well. Take it how it resonates. Aries always stands out to me in your readings, but could be an Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo as well. But what I would say here is I feel like there could be communication coming in. It could be 2 people who are left out in the cold right here. I always say this to Scorpio, that they could be attracting a person who like has been left out in the cold, and they've also been left out in the cold. I would, again, if you're attracting a Scorpio, the reason I'm saying this is if you're attracting a Scorpio, I would be careful. Make sure that they're healed. Make sure that your ass is healed as well here, Pisces. You don't want 2 broken people together, right? We need like 2 healed people. So don't like rush if this is a new person. Some of you could be moving as well. Next, you have this grip card. This is from the Threads of Fate Empyrean Oracle. Full disclosure, I have a business relationship with Threads of Fate, but they're launching 3 new decks, and there's a link to those down below. If you're watching this after the 15th, it's too late. You can't get them anymore. So if you're watching it before the 15th, then hurry up and get them. I think it's the 15th. It might be the 18th. I can't remember. But again, there's a link down below. Just check it out if you're interested. But again, this card says grip on it. You can see here that this guy, he's like gripping this snake that's around his body there, and I do feel like you could be taking control of like a toxic situation with the devil showing up here, or you could be kind of getting a grip on your life. This last row is meant to represent messages from your future self. So I feel like your future self is encouraging you to be curious about a new beginning here that you could take action on, right? 2 cards of Aries, the World. To me, this is giving me the vibes that there's something new coming in. For you, it could be a new idea, a new direction. In work and business, I also get the feeling that maybe like you already have an idea right now, like at the time of me doing this video. But maybe as we move throughout the rest of this month, you get a new idea, and you've already, I kind of get that feeling of like, I've already done a bunch of work in this direction. Do I really want to like quit and move towards a new direction? Do I really want to start over? It's not like you're starting over though. I feel like you're just starting something better. So, don't be afraid to like pivot, right? The other thing I'm getting is that this could definitely be love. I feel like this could be an Aries, or whatever sign I just mentioned, like 20 of them about a second ago. So take it how it resonates. But what I would say here is that there could be a person who has their eye on you. It's like they're a little guarded. I would be careful of this with that 5 of Pentacles. I actually think it could be good. You have Hierophant twice, marriage. You have the King of Pentacles, which I love. King of Pentacles for love. Doesn't matter what gender you're attracted to. To me, he's someone who like wants something permanent. So there you go. You have the Queen of Swords. I feel like you see things clearly now. Queen of Swords only has clouds halfway up her body there, as you can see. And it kind of represents the fact that she finally sees clearly like the things she needs to do, the things she needs to change. So I kind of get that there is a ton of clarity coming in for you. I do feel like you feel as we move through the second half of the month, clearly, we're getting out of the retrograde and we're, literally on the 14th, and then we're in the shadow technically until like the 22nd-ish. But, as far as I'm concerned, when you have a retrograde halfway through a month, you might as well say the whole entire month. So, but I think things are just getting clearer and clearer and clearer as we kind of move throughout the month. And then you have the Ace of Cups. Again, I feel like this is the next big thing right here. It's like an opportunity that's coming in for you. It's something that's going to fulfill you as well. It's something you could do all day long. And I'm also hearing for some of you that it's something that you didn't think was possible. Again, I always use the example of this channel. It's like I never in a billion years thought I would have 700 whatever subs I have, right? When I started, there were over 8 years ago now, there were no tarot readers that had over 10,000 subs. So like from the beginning, and even a few years in, I thought 10,000 was like the number. I thought that was the maximum amount of people that I could get, right? And boy, was I wrong, right? Which is great. But at the same time, again, I didn't think it was possible. So that's what I mean. It's like maybe you want to start a business fishing all day, and you might be thinking like, how the hell is that possible? But maybe it is, right? Maybe it's totally possible. So again, I kind of feel that it's something very fulfilling is coming in for you. I do also feel there could be a love offer. It could be a Taurus as well. Duh. I mean, you have Taurus twice here. So, I did say Taurus already with the world. Duh. So yeah, whatever. Take it how it resonates, Pisces. Let's see. With the Page of Swords, you have the Two of Cups. Are you kidding? Definitely new love coming in for you. And I feel like it's a soulmate. They're like pouring into each other. How cute is that? Their skulls are pouring into each other, so definitely a very fulfilling connection if this is love. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Nine of Cups. Wish fulfillment. I feel like you see what true wish fulfillment is. And it's not sacrificing yourself. Like right here, this is self-sacrifice, Pisces. So, I feel like I feel like this is saying, I don't think it's saying you can have it all necessarily. I don't think we ever truly have it all, right? And I think we need to be realistic. It's like you're not going to attract some like Brad Pitt in your life who, is a man and also does the dishes and like does everything. That doesn't exist, right? But what I would say is I feel like this is, something very good that's coming in for you if it's love. If it's business, same thing. I feel like it's something that really fulfills you. With the Ace of Cups, here you go. You have the Page of Cups. So definitely a love offer could be coming in for you. And again, if really, I think this is a big picture reading. Normally, the Page of Cups has that fish in the cup. And I'm always saying, you need to grab onto that fish. That fish represents something that might only exist in your imagination, like a business you want to start, a new pathway that you want to start. So, I would get moving here, Pisces. So, let's see. This is definitely like again, I get that feeling of like this is the next best thing. I would be careful of the past person here. This card wanting to pop out there. It says revenge on it. So again, someone could be wanting to get revenge here. I would be careful of a past person. I feel like I've been saying this to you for weeks. I feel like someone did you dirty, and but they're mad at you. I feel like this person talked a lot of shit behind your back that you don't know about, or maybe you do know about it, Pisces. It's like I feel like they said a lot. They just lied. I feel like this is a liar, devil energy, but it's like it's almost like they're mad at you for what they did. And I feel like I've said this before. If that is you, I would be careful. Let's see. We're pulling 5 main themes here. You have this inheritance card. I feel like this is like a divine inheritance. It's like you're getting your divine rewards or whatever you want to call it. You have this flattery card. See, look at this, Pisces. 2 people facing opposite directions, 2 people facing the same direction. I literally feel that you're attracting this, like someone who faces, towards you, not away from you. I feel like that's what you're used to, Pisces, in love, is situations that face away, or your last situation was that, like maybe they ignored you, didn't give you time, like whatever the case may be, strung you along, doesn't matter. I feel like, you're getting something much better. I didn't even read this. You have this adaptability card. We had that eclipse last year in Taurus. I would say that for the rest of your life, you have to be adaptable, meaning if one way doesn't work, then you have to try something else, King of Pentacles. So don't get stuck only doing things one way. Also realize that if you're stuck, there's another way to do what you're doing. You have this caution card. Yeah, I'd be careful of this person. Again, if you have a past person here, like look at all those animals going towards this person. I don't know, this person, maybe they got attention from a lot of people and they embrace that attention, or who knows, it's like, I don't know, maybe they belong to the streets. Next, you have this order card. This is your last card, actually, and I feel like you're bringing order to your life, although I don't think your life is going to be very orderly. And this is not a bad thing either. This is actually turned out to be a pretty good reading. Again, I feel like you just need to get over the fear and go towards the next big thing, this new pathway that's clearly going to lead to something much better. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.